Module 16, the reproductive systems. Anatomy of the female reproductive system. Though the structures of the male and female reproductive systems are different, they are complementary, needing each other in order for reproduction to successfully occur. Each parent provides half the genetic information necessary for life to occur, and the woman's body provides nourishment and protection to the developing baby. The primary organs of the female reproductive system are the ovaries. Their main job is to produce the female gamete or ovum, as well as produce the major female hormones, estrogen and progesterone. This is an anterior view of the ovaries. They have follicles made of tiny sacs of cells that surround the developing ovum before it becomes fertilized, and will release it when it's ready. The follicles of the ovaries are where the female hormones are produced. The uterus or womb is an expandable muscular feature that is designed to provide a safe location for the developing baby. In normal conditions, it's about 3 inches in length. The uterus is made up of 3 layers of tissue. The inner endometrium is a thick layer of vascular epithelial tissue. When an ovum is fertilized, the zygote that results will implant in the endometrium in order to develop. The muscular myometrium is made up of smooth muscle, which is able to grow as the child grows, yet still maintain the same thickness. When the baby has fully developed, the uterus can grow up and into the rib area in order to safely contain the baby. Yet within about 6 weeks after birth, the uterus amazingly shrinks back to its pre-pregnant size. The outer perimetrium is the 3rd layer of the uterus. It is part of the visceral peritoneum, which is a thin serous membrane covering lots of abdominal organs. This layer of the uterus allows it to easily move around as the bladder fills up or the intestines process food. There are 2 uterine or fallopian tubes, which are similar to the vastus deferentia because they are made up of smooth muscle and have ciliated epithelium. The ovum moves through these tubes as the smooth muscle contracts in peristaltic movement, and the cilia slowly beat to move it from the ovary into the uterus. If the ovum becomes fertilized, it will happen in the uterine tube. This is called the site of conception. It's interesting that fertilization occurs here. You see, an unfertilized ovum can only survive for about 24 hours. Yet it takes 3 days for the uterine tube to move the ovum down into the uterus. It cannot survive that trip. So sperm have to swim up into the tubes within that single day of ovulation. That's why the ovum is fertilized in the uterine tube. Now let's go back to the lateral view. You can see the uterus, uterine tube, and ovary. The vagina is made of smooth muscular tissue with connective tissue on the outside and moist stratified squamous epithelium on the inside. This is the canal through which the baby travels at birth, so it's often called the birth canal. There's a ring of epithelium-covered smooth muscle located between the uterus and the vagina called the cervix. Now, unlike the male, the urethra is not part of the anatomy of the female reproductive system. The final feature of this system is the clitoris, which is filled with sensory receptors. The blood vessels there are innervated by neurons of the parasympathetic autonomic nervous system.